That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy specializes in a customized designed academic approach tailored to meet the needs of our families. Our lower division prepares students with the necessary foundation to build excellence. Our middle division provides students with over 15 course offerings, providing them with opportunities to explore their talents and gifts. Our upper division provides personalized academic journeys, allowing them to achieve their dreams. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us, where every path leads to purpose.
National headlines and the local stories you care about. WLBB, Carrollton. News Talk 1330, FM 106.3.
Good Tuesday morning. Welcome to the WLBB Community Voice here on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, streaming live online at newstalk1330.com. This morning we are on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. You can see my handsome young guest sitting across from you. I'll introduce you to him right now. In June of this year, the Board of Regents of the University System of Georgia named this gentleman president of the University of West Georgia, effective August the 1st. So he's been in office about 1 month now. Dr. Christopher Mike Johnson is president of UWG, ninth president of UWG, draws on more than 30 years of strategic leadership experience in higher education and the military. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Great to have you in here. Tell us about Houston, your time in Houston a little bit, most recently.
Well, as I said, I was the chief of staff at the University of Houston for about 10 years. I served with Chancellor Renu Khator, and during that time we had strategic growth at the university, as well as created a College of Medicine, switched from the American Athletic Conference to the Big 12. Student population is about 47,000, and I also dual-hatted as the chief of staff for the University of Houston system, which is about 76,000 students, which had 3 sister institutions. So it was a great time seeing that institution kind of transition from a commuter-based institution to a more residential-based campus.
So you saw that growth from, I don't know, I can't remember what division it is, but to Power 5.
Right. So we were, in the group of 5, the American Athletic Conference, and you can't ever decide when a conference is going to open their rosters and let new teams in there. But I think the chancellor and the rest of the university talked about being nationally competitive and building champions for life. And so we just built the best athletic program that we could, make sure that our student athletes were set up for success. And so when the Big 12 decided to expand, we were one of those institutions. Obviously, Houston is a large market from a TV revenue perspective, and I think that certainly erred in our favor.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that experience seeing go up another level, is that going to be beneficial for you, UWG, with them just moving to Division I?
I do think it is. Obviously, as they transition to Division I, there's going to be some challenges, not only financially for the organization as coaches and staff and the students. Of course, college athletics is just changing across the entire United States with the transfer portal, the recent House Settlement Act. And so I think those factors will play a huge piece of that. But, I've talked a lot with our athletic director, and I think we have a good plan.
Well, you've got, again, vast experience, a lot of experience here. Why now? Why now to be president, and why Carrollton?
Well, I just fell in love with Carrollton and the University of West Georgia. I grew up in a small town in Lake Wales, Florida, and when I came to Carrollton, I just seemed so much like my own hometown, agricultural based, just good, solid people. I thought I knew what Southern hospitality was, but from the moment I got here, everyone just really rolled out the red carpet. What I really loved about the University of West Georgia was that my time at George Mason, as we transitioned that institution from a commuter school to a residential base, it was a regional comprehensive. My time at Houston, I saw a lot of similarities in West Georgia's growth path, and I had some conversations with President Kelly about his time here and where he took the ball, and I saw that there were things that I could do, the experiences that I had again at Houston, where I could just bring those successes here. And of course, Georgia and the University System of Georgia is just a model in the country of how they deal with higher education. And our state legislature is extremely supportive of education and the amount of funding they give to our universities and colleges. And so, I think all the right tools were there. They just needed a good leader to come in there and put it all together.
You mentioned Dr. Kelly. So our last 2 presidents, I think they were, their background was more arts. and you, I mean, your background is military. It feels like it might be a little more, strict and defined. But do you think that was a conscious decision from the Board of Regents? Is that?
Well, I think it's been my experience that when boards are looking for university presidents, of course, it's about the right hire at the right time, for that organization. And so I certainly think that as they were looking at the Division I, the enrollment situation at the University of West Georgia, I think those were all factors that certainly probably played in their decision making. I can't speak to how the search committee.
I didn't know if that became part of your conversation.
I mean, certainly I addressed obviously my leadership experience as I look at problems and how I'm deal with issues. I'm not inexperienced in making difficult decisions. And so I think that certainly plays a factor, as having a leader that's in there that's capable of making the difficult decisions that need to be made. Now, certainly I didn't have to deal with the pandemic decisions that the previous leadership had to deal with, but every institution is going to have to deal with challenges, whether they're budgetary or enrollment or a natural disaster. And so I think having some stability leadership in there is certainly a factor.
Dr. Mike Johnson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, new president of the University of West Georgia. Any questions or comments, feel free to post those to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, and I'll take a look at those during our break and share them with our guests. So about 1 month you've been now. You, I'm sure you've had a chance to talk to students and faculty. What are they telling you is good about UWG, and what are they telling you that they would like to see worked on, other than the cafeteria? You don't have to bring up the food.
Well, of course, parking is always a challenge that our students comment on. But the faculty and staff, students have been great. I've gotten around to talk with all of them, and kind of just in this first 100 days, what I really have been trying to stress to everybody, certainly is the change in leadership from President Kelly to an interim president to now the permanent president, is just bring some stability, that I'm there to listen and learn, to really understand the culture of the organization before you come in there and start tweaking or changing things. And as I tell people, you don't want to change what the fabric of the university is that makes it so special to everybody, or pull on a thread that is so critical. And I think one of those critical areas, certainly when you talk to both the students and the faculty, is just that intimate student to faculty ratio that gives that experience of, we're a rural institution, but also you get something really special at the University of West Georgia that you may not get at a larger institution where you're 40, 60,000 students. You're able to be a part of that community. And so I think that's a key piece of it. But I also think that they recognize that as the institution matures, there are things that naturally have to happen. We are losing, I won't say losing, but students are transferring to other institutions in the system for engineering or other programs. And so as we explore the region and what are the needs that we need to produce here. I think we talked about the regional impact, economic impact in the region. How can we continue to improve upon that?
You're already on is it Development Authority for City of Carrollton?
I think I've been voted onto that, but I have not had a meeting yet.
Have you had conversations about Maple Street, that road that's out in front of, about making improvements?
So I had an initial conversation with the mayor maybe 2 weeks ago, in which we kind of talked about the Maple Street project and the roundabout. And we talked about the university's piece in that, as we talked about the economic development that the university brings. It's also our job to increase enrollment and other factors. But I also addressed that as I increase my students, I also need things for my students to do. And so I think the mayor is certainly well aware of that. And I talked to the local chamber, Brian Dill, about some of those same questions. And but I recognize we need to get more students back on campus, get our faculty and staff back on campus, so that we can do our part, for the community as a regional anchor.
Well, I'm excited to see the progress there. I mean, if you make that walkable, and then now that they've moved it up to D1 and they're on ESPN every week, I think you use a shot like that. I mean, it could be an attention getter for the university. I mean, it could maybe good marketing.
Absolutely. D1 athletics is all about marketing. It's branding and visibility, and so a competitive program will certainly increase. Beyond just the 6 games that we have there, of course, we have 14 other great athletic programs there, from basketball to even our women's, or not just women's, but our cheerleading program, obviously national champions. And so I think there's great reasons to be on campus if you haven't come there in recent memory.
I know it's just a month, but if you're talking about sports, but do you see a sport that we don't have, or maybe have lost over the last decade, or something that you wouldn't mind seeing us bring back?
I haven't had those conversations with the athletic director. Again, as I said, college athletics is changing right now, and as you look at the landscape, you're constantly having to balance the needs of the various athletic programs. The coaches, obviously, they're hungry to be competitive. Those are huge financial drivers. Title IX continues to play an issue as you look for parity across all your sports for both your men and your women. And so, I think it's a deeper conversation that I haven't yet had, but I look forward to that. I think there is conversations about expanding into beach volleyball, I believe. I know the AD is certainly on top of those issues.
Before we go to the break, had you heard of Carrollton? Were you familiar with Carrollton at all before you put the search out?
I was not. My sister lives over in Savannah, and so I'm familiar with that portion of the state. My wife's family is actually from Toccoa, but not here. My wife actually went to college at Auburn University, about an hour away. So I think she kind of drove through this general area, or Noonan area, on her way up to Virginia. But no, I had not. We actually have a Carrollton, Texas. So anytime I put Carrollton in, that's where it popped up.
In Arkansas, it's all the way through there. I guess most important, had you heard of Colton Campbell before that?
I had not.
But now
you're glad I did some light internet stalking, and I was able to.
All right, time right now is 8:40. We're going to continue our conversation with Dr. Mike Johnson, new president of the University of West Georgia. We'll come back after this. Show brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Oak Mountain Academy is a vibrant community built on innovation, academic excellence, and a 64-year legacy of shaping community leaders. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, inviting you to visit the mountain and experience firsthand the passion, purpose, and personalized education that defines our school. Come see how our mission and vision come to life each day. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
8:41. Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice. My name's Colin Worthington. I forgot to mention that. Time right now is 8:41. My guest this morning, Dr. Mike Johnson, new president of the University of West Georgia. And I'm not sure if you'd heard of UWG before. You said you weren't familiar with Carrollton, but maybe you came across UWG. What did you think the reputation for UWG was before coming to the job? And has that changed now that you're talking to people and reaching out more?
No, I thought the reputation of the entire university system of Georgia was great, and when I looked at West Georgia, it was right on par. It's actually ranked, I think nationally, if you take out private institutions, it's about 190, somewhere in that.
And nursing's up there, right?
Yeah, nursing. So we have some competitive programs,
yeah.
Number 3 in the country in College of Education. So number 3 in the state in social mobility. So West Georgia is definitely a hidden gem that most people overlook but it's a solid institution in the region. And one of the things I love about public higher education is just that this is really where those institutions who touch the most students. And it may not always seem like that, but there are I think 6 million people here in the greater Carrollton region, and so. A regional institution serves that mission of making sure that those students have access to good, solid public higher education. And we do that through a variety of programs. And so that's what really drew me to looking at the University of West Georgia, was being a part of that, because I'm a first-generation college graduate. I see the value of higher education, and I wanted to be a part of an organization that changed lives, with 40% of our student population, first-generation college students. A lot of those people are in the same shoes that I was in, and so I think it's critical to make sure that we're there helping them.
I did see that in that bio. I thought that was interesting. Your military background, was your family more focused on military at that point?
No.
And how did they feel, when you went to college?
Well, they were excited that I went to college. I think I joined the military right out of high school. I was 18. There wasn't a lot to do in my hometown unless you wanted to go to college or work in the citrus industry, and so. I was a mediocre student at that point, and I needed the military. I enjoyed the structure of the military, but I had a good mentor that I think, like a lot of us do, who asked me what I wanted to achieve, and so I started going part-time to college, and then I eventually matriculated to the Citadel and graduated from there. And so I think that was a key piece for me, because I truly saw the value of higher education and how it could move somebody from one station in life to another, not only impact their lives, but that of their families. And so as a result of that, at least one of my siblings has also gone on to college. And so I think they see the value of that.
But you were number one.
But I was I'm in my mom's eyes, it's never a four-way tie, right? I mean, and so, I think that's a huge piece of it for me was doing that. And then I got my master's and then my PhD. And, I kind of, much like the military, I saw that there was this pathway for me in the higher education track as I decided what I wanted to do. I don't think most people go into higher education right out of the bat. Realize people work there, but I don't think you think of that as a job field, that's what you're going to be. No one starts out in college being like, I'm going to be, the CFO at the University of, Georgia or wherever. I enjoy it very much, and because I get to be with students. They're literally the heart and soul of a university, and you can feel when they're not there on campus.
Yeah. You can feel it in town.
It's just empty, and then when they are, just that life. And so whenever I get down, or the job starts taking its toll, you just get out of your office and go see students, and then you realize why you love what you do.
Dr. Mike Johnson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program, brand new president of the University of West Georgia. You talked about the relationship with legislators. Have you met Tyler Paul Smith yet?
I have not.
You said the Citadel, so
yes.
That's what made me think of it. He's a Citadel graduate.
He is. We actually are meeting, I think, later this week.
Okay. Our UWG campuses in Carrollton, Noonan, and Douglasville, 12,769 students. Does that sound about right?
That's a couple of years. That's a little old.
Oh, is it a little old? Yeah. Okay. Well, we have 13,000 now, 14,000?
Our numbers are not firmed up yet, but as of last count, we were about 16,500 students.
Well, so is that like 10% growth every year?
That's last year.
14.
And that was record breaking.
Right. Yeah, I do remember that. Is that? I think a lot of people would be excited about the exposure the school would get, and getting more students. They just worried about getting too big. So what's your perspective on that as far as the amount of students?
That's a great question. One of the things I have certainly posed when I have talked with faculty and staff is how big can the University of West Georgia get? Now remember, when you talk about 16,600, I'd say about 9,000 of those students are graduate, and back up. About 6,000 of those students are graduate and dual enrollment students. So they're not physically on the campus all the time, but our undergraduate population has certainly grown and increased. And so, what does that number look like? Because, of course, it's exponential. The more students you have, the more faculty you need in order to maintain. We talked about that intimate ratio. But it also increases more infrastructure needs, buildings, if you want to increase your residence halls for live-in students. For our, we have mandatory requirement for freshmen. So I think all that is that point. But you do hit an equilibrium where there's that ideal number, and I think 20,000 might be pretty close to that. And that's all in with obviously graduate students and undergraduate students.
And Noonan as well, right?
And that includes Noonan as well, which I think they have about 800 students there that touch that campus on any given day. I know certainly when I'm talking to the mayor and our state legislators down there, they would like to see that campus expand. We've certainly talked with the Yamaha plant about how we could move into that area. I have meetings later this month with Southwire, again, how we can do that. I'm a firm believer in that. Part of higher education is that, because again the landscape of higher education is also changing, that you have to meet students sometimes where the students are at. And so when you talk about Yamaha or Southwire, that may require having a professor come to a break room and teach classes, because I want to be the institution that doesn't say no. I want to try to find ways to say yes. And so how can we take students taking lessons again from the military education space of, if you give me enough students, I can come teach English 101 anywhere. Why give someone on the plant floor a reason to say I can't do it or I don't have enough time? I'll make time for you, because that's the most precious asset that they have.
Dr. Mike Johnson, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. We'll go ahead and take our second break and come back with about 10 minutes on this program. Give you one more chance to post any questions or comments to the newstalk1330.com or Newstalk1330 Facebook page. And I'll try and look at those during the break. Program brought to you by Tanner Health and Oak Mountain Academy.
Imagine a place where every heartbeat is monitored with the utmost care, where emergencies are met with swift attention, and where cutting-edge technology enables precise and timely treatments. At Tanner Health, every patient's journey is a testament to resilience, a story of strength, healing, and hope. We go beyond treatment to redefine what compassionate care truly means. That's Tanner Health. That's care redefined. Learn more at tanner.org.
Do the math. At Oak Mountain Academy, our average graduating class has just 12 students. We celebrate a 100% graduation rate with more than $10.5 million in college scholarships offered. Plus, 96% of our students are accepted into their top choice college. Do the math. Can you see the value of an OMA education? I'm Patrick Uran, head of school at Oak Mountain Academy, and I'm here to help you do the math. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us so that you can discover your journey on the mountain, where every path leads to purpose.
Time right now is 8:50. Welcome back to the Community Voice, talking with Dr. Mike Johnson, new president of the University of West Georgia. We have a world-famous weather tracker guy here has commented. He said, "Good morning and welcome to UWG. Dr. Johnson, looking forward to meeting you at an alumni tailgate this football season." Kevin is the class of 2007, so thank you for checking in with that comment, Kevin. This may be a Board of Regents thing. So you might have an opinion on it. I guess after COVID, they eliminated the testing, as far as to get into college. How do you feel about that?
I think for some students, they're not always the best test takers, and so there's certainly some advantages to that. But it's my understanding that the system has reviewed those policies and has begun implementing tests back into the system. I think, and we have
Georgia Tech or something.
Right, I think they have already, but I think University of West Georgia has one more year where they're test optional, and then that will come back into play. And that is I think students who have a GPA of 3.2 is our current requirement without SATs or ACT scores, and then below that they submit them. Test. And so, of course, the more information that you give to a university, the easier it is to make application decisions on that. And so, again, Georgia is great because of the Hope Scholarship, and so we're not losing a lot of students to outside states because it's not transferable. And so we're always going to be a university of first choice for a lot of these students.
There was a press release that came down from the University System of Georgia. The foundation raised $4.5 million, and they were going to launch the Dreams Scholarship for Georgia. How's that going to benefit West Georgia students?
Well, I think, financial aid continues to be a big issue for a lot of our students, especially need and merit aid. And so, the USG's scholarships will allow more students to choose the University of West Georgia who may not have had enough funding or gap funding to continue going to their institution of choice, or might not be eligible for other types of financial aid. And so this will serve as another resource for them to go after. And
again, I know I could preface probably the rest of my questions with, I know it's only been a month, but do you see any academic areas that have room for expansion at UWG? Or maybe even potential cuts? Yeah,
as I looked at Big Rocks, and of course I have and I encourage everybody that's listening to go onto the website to fill out the page asking for your thoughts and feedback. But I think as we look at research and innovation as a regional comprehensive university, emerging research university, we have to look at how we're expanding into that space. And we talked about Yamaha and Southwire earlier. I think there's opportunities for growth in supply chain management, light manufacturing areas that could certainly expand to that. And obviously, rural health care, working with our School of Nursing to see what we could do in that. That may be population health, that may be other areas. There are jobs that we haven't even thought about yet. Certainly AI and other areas that will continue to expand. And so, I think those are conversations that I'm certainly eager to explore over the next. It won't just be 100 days, but certainly, in those conversations as we come up to my State of the University address, as we plan that out, that's where I want to look at.
Tyler McCoy checking in, says, powerful view on education access. Welcome to EWG, Mr. President. Are there decisions that you think that you would make that faculty needs to be more involved in, and then decisions that that you're just going to go with what you believe?
No, shared governance is so critical because the diversity of thought, I think, makes a stronger university and organization, and so having more people at the table is never a bad thing. As you begin making these plans forward, as our strategic plan comes to an end and we start thinking about our next strategic plan as we come up in 2031 on our 125th anniversary, I think it's critical to have those conversations about, again, not only where the institution is at, but where it aspires to be. And it goes into those conversations about how big should we be, what are the disciplines that we should be thinking about going into. But there's a place for everybody at the University of West Georgia, and so this is a marathon, not a sprint, and so we're going to take it slow and deliberate and make the right choices that's best for the university.
I don't know if this happened in Houston, but do you like the relationship with West Georgia Technical College that you guys have?
I do. I actually had a great meeting with Dr. Post, last week, and we talked a lot about articulation agreements. Again, I want to get to an answer where we always say yes, and so there are some times where students, I think every student is going to need some form of post-secondary education after high school, and so in some cases, our technical colleges are great partners because they offer a lot of applied science degrees, whether that's in HVAC or any number of areas. But sometimes those students eventually may want to transition into other fields or into management roles that may require more education. And so I think that's where the University of West Georgia can be an excellent partner. And sometimes students academically, kind of like myself, they may have benefited from going to a technical college first before coming to the university. And so again, I want to create as many articulation pathways for our students so that they're automatically admitted into the University of West Georgia if they graduate from Georgia Technical. And so I think we'll continue to work on those relationships and improve where we need to.
All right, beyond enrollment and graduation rates, are there any kind of key performance indicators that you'll be able to evaluate institution-wise and say, hey, we're being successful?
Well, again, we talked about graduation rates during the break, but our current graduation rates are 43%, which means that 3 out of 5 students are not walking across the stage. And my number one priority among everything of all the goals is student success. I have continued to press that with everyone that I talk to, that will be the North Star of the university, because that truly is the measure of success for a university. If we're not graduating students, then we're not doing our mission. And certainly as a regional comprehensive, we have a duty not only as a university here in Georgia, but to the taxpayers who fund the university to exist. And so we need more students to walk across the stage. And so I've put that charge down to make sure that we're implementing all the measures and tools that we can to get more. I believe in the next 5 years we can get that up to 10%, but that will be deliberate, ways to do that. And so that certainly will be a top metric.
All right, we've got 2 minutes, and I know this question is not fair. Our last 2 presidents, I think we're here 4 years each, maybe? Total of 4 years each. I mean, so people, they kind of invest their time into these presidents, and then the schools, they get excited about things, and then, for one reason or another, they're gone. I mean, is UWG a stepping stone? I mean, what's your outlook right now?
No, UWG is not a stepping stone. Again, I'm already looking at 2031 in our 125th anniversary, and so these plans take 5 to 10 years to implement, and so these are not short-term gains. I'm looking at long-term changes for the organization of what will set University of West Georgia up for success. I have a daughter that's in the 7th grade, and so I'm not planning to go anywhere anytime soon. And as I mentioned, my wife's an Auburn alum, so is Colton, and I think
Colton Campbell.
Yeah, Colton Campbell, and I think our daughter has aspirations of going there. So I don't anticipate my wife being interested in leaving anytime soon. And again, this is just a great community and so embracing of us. There's no reason for us to want to go anywhere else.
And I think rational people do understand that things happen in life. I mean, family issues, you may have to leave or something like that down the road, but, not pushing it. Do hope you stay.
Absolutely.
And it was great to meet you. And,
You as well.
And thank you for bringing Colton out here this morning.
Anytime I can get him out of bed.
That's right. And thank you for watching and listening to this morning's Community Voice program. I want to remind you, if you missed anything, it'll be in podcast form on our website at newstalk1330.com. And it'll be on Facebook Live, I guess, for 30 days before they kick it off. And it'll be on YouTube, right? Grady Communications YouTube page forever. So thank you for tuning in this morning. I think Josh will be back in this seat tomorrow morning at 8:30. So tune in then for the Community Voice.